Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this pattern, pretty cool pattern, and they want to get it to wrap around a 20-inch Yeti type tumbler. I didn't have a 20 ounce. I had a 32, which is actually probably the slant is probably the same. So I'm going to show him, and this is pretty cool, and it worked perfectly. And we're just going to go through it. So what you need to do first, every time I go to an IKEA store, I grab one or two of their paper tapes. You could use, a sewer's tape, but I marked the cup. Here's the top of the cup. The graphic was, well, for instance, I made it for my cup. With my ratio lock, I'm gonna make it 3 inches tall. And then I'm gonna lock the ratio. I'm gonna make it 3 inches again. So now it's 3 by 3 square. So what I did on my cup, and I hope this isn't too confusing, I marked with a pencil 1.5 inches from there, and it's actually out of the picture, but I marked it down here. So I marked 3 inches, so I didn't have to mark the top because I right on that lip, and then I marked the bottom. So then I went through and measured the top of the cup, and I was having to hold this with my hands. It's exactly 12.5 inches if I would have moved it up. And then I measured it down here, and it was surprisingly not that much difference. It was like 12 and 5/16. So, if so there was only 3/16 difference between the slope of the cup, which really surprised me. That'll come into play later. I'm going to write down with the text tool 3/16. If we'll remember that. And actually, to make it better, we're going to make it 6/32, which is the same, because we're actually going to have to use the 30 seconds. So now I need this logo to wrap, and I need it to stay the same. Like if we copy it now, let's change our nudge factor to 3 inches. If we take this logo the way it is now and hit the plus sign, you can see that it's not going to match up because the flowers are different. So what we need to do is take this flower, Control D on the duplicate, holding down the control button, and get your arrow key where it's two-sided arrow, and then flip it. Now you can see that it matches up, but we're only at 6 inches. We actually need 12.5. So we're going to group this together, Control G. I actually hit Control. I'm going to back up a little bit because I hit Control D. I need to Control G to group that together, and then I need to Control D to duplicate it, and then I'm going to grab that two-sided arrow. I'm going to flip it again, and now it's a standard, common. I can't think of the name. It's a seamless pattern. It just replicates over and over and over. Now we actually need it 12.5. So I'm going to group this together, Control G, and I'm going to make it 12.5 with my ratio unlocked. So now it's still 3 inches tall, which is the width of my cup. Now we need to consider that little bit of taper. So we need to make a box, a rectangle, that is 12.5 by 3. We need to convert that to a curve so we can use our nudge distance with our shape tool. We'll grab our shape tool, and remember we needed 6/32, so we actually need just 3/32 on each end. So I'm going to type in 3/30, and it comes out with 0.94 of a nudge because we're going to nudge both ends. So we're going to grab the shape tool, we're going to grab that node, and we're going to nudge it to the right with an arrow key. We're going to nudge that one. We're going to nudge it to the left with the arrow key. Now we have more or less the shape of the cup. I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. And I'm going to put our design and hit P, put it in the center of the page. And if you will see, my taper is inside that. By grabbing both of them, I'm going to hit the intersect tool. And what that did, it made my new design a taper. Now, this is if your measurements are perfectly on. What you could do is make this just a hair longer. I did not, and I did it on tape so it wouldn't waste my cup. I'm really close enough, but what you could do is, and I'm gonna, maybe in a second video, I'm gonna tell you how you could test this. I would elongate it a little bit, just a hair. Let's say, see, we're already not, 12 and a half. So let's make it, with our ratio unlock, let's make it 12.55. Okay? Then turn your graphic at a 90-degree angle, because that's the way the cup's going to be fitting in your laser. If you look right here. And I did it center, and I am gonna go to part 2 and tell you how to get that more accurate maybe. And then just run this. So your cups, the mouth of your cup is here. And I would suggest running it center. Doesn't really matter on a wrap. And so stay tuned to part 2 and we'll figure out how to get this perfect. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching.